The sun's come out. I'm surprised you're not sitting in the tractor where it started, ready. No, James, no, won't be a problem. It's a problem. 2 sinks, Adrian.
Yeah, got a lot of things to sweep.
I'm sat here with cousin Michael. I'm distraught because it's raining. He's lost a lot of weight, so he's feeling pretty chipper about himself. And
I'm also distraught.
are you? Oh, well, you must be silently distraught. So this is like a rerun, isn't it? It's like a rerun of last year.
Very depressing.
And we've even looked up the temperatures of countries abroad. We've decided we're not going to Lanzarote.
No.
Malta's a firm favourite at the moment, isn't it?
It is, yeah. That's a good idea.
We just don't know whether anybody would miss us. Sadly, we think the answer might be no. And we've now got wheat where the bales went coming up in the oats. We'd got it come up, we sprayed it, we drilled the oats, and now a fresh
Barley.
There's barley, sorry, you're quite right. Fresh barley is now coming up.
I'll teach you the difference as it goes.
Oh, thanks, Michael. Really appreciate it. So, is this called a companion crop? Is this not the new in regenerative agriculture?
Yes.
Should we make out we did it on purpose?
Yeah.
So how many white canes do we need to put in the field just to demonstrate that? 3rd of October, I'm having to drink fizzy water. It's my direct replacement for not drinking Diet Coke. It doesn't bring a lot of joy to my life. Anyway, we are currently, my end of year is the 30th of September. So we're making sure that all our stocks are right, credits, etc. So we're going through all the parts, send back stuff that we don't need, get invoice for what we do need, or what we have used rather. Get everything absolutely up together. While we're doing it, we're really going to town on it. We're doing a complete stock list on the computer, writing down everything we've got, and also finding stuff as you do for machines that you no longer own or something of that order. So we'll then either throw stuff away, or we'll just say to people, you know, if you want to buy this, you can have it at, I don't know, 50 or 40% of what it costs new, because we just want to get it cleared. And it's a good thing to do. It's a wet time, everything's ready to go. If suddenly the sun's come out, well, it's gone in now, but it came out for about half an hour, which suddenly makes you feel very different, and it creates optimism as soon as you go. We're now getting one of the tractors set up for wet weather, so we can get that on a 12-metre finer drill, so we can start probably drilling for a couple of days before we can go with anything else. And then if it gets dry, then hopefully all the other drills will come out and we'll get done. We need about 2 weeks of flat out, non-stop, no problems drilling, and we could get a long way through it and probably get up to the beans. So we've still got some barley, still got some oats, got a lot of black grass that's now coming up to spray off. Some of the early drilling has actually started to get some of the green growing up through it from where the balers ran, which is less than ideal because we had sprayed that off. We had also cultivated that before that had grown, and we cultivated it, and then it came up again. We sprayed it off before we drilled, and now with the rains we've got a new flush, which less than ideal, but it's obviously going to be one of those years again. So hopefully we'll get drilling again. It's very difficult to imagine when you start to walk across the fields that we'll ever be drilling again this side of Christmas, because it is just so wet. I mean, Bedford is extreme. 240 mil of rain since in 2 weeks. So, you know, huge. You know, when Kieran and Graham walk across the fields, they're literally just sinking in like walking on snow. So they're finding drains, they're cleaning ditches, they're cleaning culverts. We're having stuff dumped, unfortunately, which has then blocked up the culverts, held the water up, so we're having to dig that out and separate that. Because as we found with the skips, we can't just put it all in the skip as what we've been doing, because then we find that some of it comes back if it's, I don't know, simple things, fridge, freezer, something like that, or whether it's a gas bottle or anything that's on their list they won't take. We have actually from the County Council, Cambridgeshire, we now took some washing machines and a fridge and freezer and a trailer. We had to get registered because we're doing it from the farm, even though it's been dumped on our land. We had to get registered and had points. Sun's come back out again, which is lovely. See, I'll start smiling again when the sun comes out. And yeah, we're just doing a bit of catch-up jobs, just getting ready. It's a bit of a nothingy time because you can't start a new project. So this was 2 houses, just this first part when I first came here, and the left-hand side wasn't there, so just straight down the middle. They're actually quite small when you actually look at it in isolation. And then I knocked it into one, and then Father had that built on some while ago, and then we've done this bit. It's sort of starting to look a better size. It's got a nice bedroom up there now. So, yeah, it's changing. It's getting there. Literally. And you got your legs out.
You know, don't you? You know.
Right, we can't get up, can we?
No, there's a ladder. There's a ladder.
Lad's got a ladder up there.
Yeah, upstairs.
Is that all locked now for Father?
Yeah, we can unlock it.
Right, okay. What are the pipes here for then?
So this would be boxed in. So these are the 2 pipes that go down to the accumulator that goes under the stairs to build up the pressure.
Okay.
This gets boxed in for
Right.
fire eggs.
So you said you have to put 3 boards up on
Yeah,
here?
so 2 sheets of pink fireboard, one way, one the other, so
Yeah.
cross-lap it.
Because it's a garage and the car could catch a light.
It's fire.
Is this a lot to do with the EV charging cars?
No, it's more to do with just fire going through now. So then we batten off that and then we put another board on it because we've got downlighters.
All right.
Yeah.
And then they will paint the walls white?
Everything goes white in here. Upstairs at an off-white, he said.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of insulation, isn't there?
Yeah, so it's 200 mil of acoustic insulation.
Acoustic as well?
Yeah, acoustic as well, yeah.
Okay.
So, because you're having downlighters, with Celotex you have to have a 300 mil gap all the way around it.
Crumbs.
But then you've got no...
At some point you're going to want to take the door off my house, aren't you?
Yeah. We'll do that at the very end.
But we have to block up.
But yeah, we'll do it at the very end, so we can take that off and then just put that straight on.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this actually almost looks like it's drying.
Yeah, it's drying out not too bad.
I'm somewhat surprised. It's still wet in the yard.
It's still wet in the yard, but we've had a lot of rain from up that end.
It's pretty tricky. Bedford's tricky.
Yeah.
They've had about 240 mil of rain.
Oh.
Yeah, which is about 40%. I know I had to go around it yesterday. 40% of the annual rainfall in 2 weeks.
Is it? I know they shut Erith off because that was like 2 foot of water.
Erith, Cambridgeshire Erith. Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Extraordinary.
Yeah.
Extraordinary, Chris. Well, don't worry. We're about the highest point in Cambridgeshire.
At the moment.
So we're okay here. Everyone else will know when it's bad, they'll be running up to us.
Yeah, we were both.
Would it be possible to put a top on that without disturbing the kitchen?
Yeah, we'll just take the ends off.
Without the roof collapsing?
Yeah, we could just rejoist it, yeah, because I would say that the joist under there now should be quite structural anyway.
What about this bit? What about this apex?
You'd just bring...
You'd ruin it.
Well, you'd build it in stud work, you'd have to lose it somehow. Yeah.
Well, unless the house stopped there.
What, in front of it?
And then it sort of came up into it.
Yeah, it'd be a quirky little bit looking at though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's big enough now, James, isn't it?
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, it's
you're
definitely
probably right.
We could build another one.
I don't know. The problem is, though, Father moved out of the what we call the big house because he wanted a smaller house. He'll probably say it's no because I wanted to move in. But anyway, brush past that. But and he moved into a smaller house, and now he wants this one bigger because it's not big enough. But he lives on his own. Two sinks, Adrian.
Yeah, got a lot of things to sweep.
Oh dear. So we're going to put the 1100 tyres on this tractor because for the wet weather drilling, looking unlikely we're going to get on in the near future with the big drills, even though they're still full and everybody's pretty keen to get on, but we're putting these a big tyre actually. So these go on the back and 900s go on the front. So how much, you know those wings, I priced those wings up. They're £2,500, those 108 wings.
Bloody hell, I've got there, I've just taken
So
them off.
we need
Just
to
off the shelf down here.
we need to sell them.
Yeah.
You know, they've done what, 30 hectares?
Yeah.
up the field and back. I think we put them on for long wilds.
Yeah.
Tried it, didn't finish the field.
Well, that's them all on that pallet. I've got the legs outside to go to Terry Birch.
Right, so if anyone wants Sprinter,
Toronto.
Toronto wings, there's 108 there. We'd take £1,000, wouldn't we? Get them gone.
We'll get them off the shelf anyway.
And then these are going to, we're going to try again, aren't we? Clifton Rubber, get them to put the things on the outside.
Yeah, get them recoated. I put the
But
others
we've got a
on.
good stack there, haven't we? And the new one, the 1167's got different type.
Yeah, it does.
What we don't know if these fit on.
I don't know.
I know the exterior looks slightly different,
Yeah,
but
with
whether
the
or not they actually fit
yeah,
on,
that is true.
we have to measure them. So the Army Bowser, Glyn and Simon have been working on it. They've put an air compressor up in the top, built it in its frame, took it out of its trailer chassis, etc. Built it up there. It's a proper road compressor. Got the roof to go on. We've got to lift it up slightly because it didn't quite mount where the old one was. So they're doing that. They're going to make some posts and then put that on top and then panel that in, and then that will be done. And then they've just got to reset the handbrake on it. We've had a problem with the handbrake, so they need to try and strip that down and work on that, try and fix that. Being a sort of an old Bedford is the old handbrake, so hopefully we can adjust it and get it sorted. So Freddie and Raymond are just power washing all the moss down the side of the building, cleaning the sides of the buildings, cleaning the drains out. They've got the power washer going and got it on a Bowser, and then we can go wherever we're washing the side of buildings where the green is coming up on them and just making a decent job. It's where all the muck comes round and settles out and just cleaning down the edges. So we're doing some real spring cleaning. Crumbs, that look at the state of that truck. So the steel work's turning up. Doesn't look a lot of steel work, but actually there's probably more here than you think. So this is S&A Buildings, who've been doing all our buildings, and they brought this down. Then they're waiting for us to get the foundations in so they can crack on and start putting it up. This wet weather's really hampered us now. There's a lot of water about on the fields, in the drains, on the sides. A lot of water. Had to move that water tank. That's a big old tank to move. We've got to move the spray store up the other end just so it's out the way so we can get this ready for the new spray store to be built. Of course, it's going to make a difference having a new spray store. Drive in, drive out. That's going to make a difference from the container. It's going to be nice. So we're in the mustard shed, so we're getting the shed ready now for campaign clean, which starts in November, where we get all the mustard in from the growers. We go through the cleaner, we clean everything. So this is the old stock. We'll move that to the smaller bay, and then then the new stock comes in here, so that then they like to keep it separate between the old and the new, so that don't get a taste change. So same with the milling wheats. They like to try and blend old stock and new stock, so there isn't a sudden taste change between the new and the old years. It changes colour as well throughout its time. So it's a lot brighter when it's a new harvest, and then it goes a slightly duller, more browny beige colour as the year goes on. That's coming out the cleaner. That's all chaff, separating the chaff from the mustard. So colour sorter's not running at the moment. We just want to separate the chaff first, get it all gone. So that's all coming off, leaving then a pile of mustard, so that then we can send that back over the cleaner, back onto the colour sorter, hopefully speed the process up. So it's coming out at good pace now. It's just taking the worst of the chaff off. Then you can see there's quite a lot of black in it. So what the colour sorter will do is it will take all of the black out. It's like bindweed and knotweed. So yeah, hopefully get that gone fairly quickly. Then be able to colour sort that much quicker. It's all running 24 hours a day at the moment. I built this in about 7 weeks. Must have been one of the first things I built, I think, in about, I'm going to guess, about year 2000. Steve and Gordon don't like it. It's too short for them. But of course, I built it originally for a forklift. It was only 2.5 ton. So it was a perfect size for that. Of course, now we're on 6-ton machines. You need a much bigger pusher. But I quite like the fact I built that 24 years ago. It's amazing how it bulks up and it becomes a massive pile in isolation. It doesn't weigh anything, but it's a massive pile. So we'll have to start sending this up to the AD plant at Wesley, to Charles. And I know somebody asked the question, where does it go? It goes to Charles at Wesley. And there's energy in that for his AD plant. And he has a fantastic free-range chicken business. It's really quite an impressive place. So that's got some little brown mustards in it. And that one there has got all the weed seeds in it, which the cleaner can't take out. So that's what the colour sorter will do. So that's the difference between colour sorted and just cleaned. Can't take the seeds out, or the black oilseed rape or anything else that might be in there. And whereas the colour sorter will take that all out and deliver a really good clean product ready for the factory to be able to process. We're effectively the role of what we're doing, which is unlike what happens when you deliver wheat to a mill, because you're allowed up to 2% admixture. But with the mustard, it's 0.3. So effectively, we're doing a part of the factory process here before it goes to the factory. So the red is what we're using. So we're using, what, nearly 500 kilowatts of electricity.
Midnight, isn't it?
Oh, nighttime from midnight, yeah. Fans are on because the humidity was down, so ventilation turned on. Sunlight then in the green, is that right?
So that's what you're using versus what you're...
Yeah.
Yeah, what you're using, but what you're generating.
What you're producing, yeah.
And actually you're over-generating electricity.
Oh, with the sun out just at the moment? So if you looked...
There's your usage, look, in the red.
Yeah.
But you're generating a lot more.
Yeah, I thought you'd be using more considering you've got stuff running. We've got the wet weather drill up at 12 metre. We've just put it on the tractor, got the wheels changed, got the front hopper on. We've got to add some weights and things because the tractor sits back on itself. And we're trying to get it set up. We just tried it in the field, very wet at the beginning, got up into the field. We made a reasonable job, but it's not set right. It's a prototype type machine. So of course, Will Lawton's here from Horsch UK, and he's trying to set it up and make the alterations. We've already got a smaller version over there, so they're going to look at what parts they can perhaps take off that to put onto this one to get it running. So fingers crossed we'll get a bit more sense a bit later today. Freddie's bowsering the water at the moment for Glyn and Kieran. They're just putting a bit of pre-em on, which amazingly we're managing to travel. Not all areas, we're having to stop in some fields, we're having to go round in some places because we've got standing water or it's just openly too wet. But we're just getting on 90% if we can, and then we'll have to go back to those other areas later. So this is where you see the skill of an operator. There's a difference between sort of drivers and operators. Is the skill now in being able to pick and choose where they've got to go and do a good job. And yeah, this is where these guys come into their own. Just over at Gambling Gate, just putting on the last of the pre-ems and what we were drilled 2 weeks ago before it rained and we've been stopped. So they come over with the sprayers, they're managing to travel. They can go at 2,000 litres, 3,000 at most at a time. Go lightweight, just trying to creep about. A couple of wet spots, a couple of deeper tram lines, but on the whole travelling well. And you can now see the barley coming up in the rows across the fields. Looks good. Get the pre-em on, so hopefully then the black grass doesn't come, and hopefully the weather will set fair and we'll be able to get on and across a wider area, which would be nice. We've got 747 hectares drilled before it rained, so we've got a bit done, but got a long way to go yet. Saturday tomorrow is the last day that Carol does the food for this year. So they're in here now, enjoying baked potato and an apple pie with cream, and they're very very concerned about tomorrow being the last day. They're going to have to go back to fending for themselves. So yeah, so that's gone on since the beginning of July, 1st of July, right through to the 5th of October. It's been a hot meal 7 days a week for everybody. Thank you very much, Carol. Really appreciate it. I know everybody else has just absolutely loved it, and it's made a huge difference. An army can't march on an empty stomach. Poor old Will hasn't had time to stop today. What time is it? 6:20, isn't it? Will's here from Horsch UK, putting a 12-metre drill together. Just trying to get the camera put on the front because the hopper's quite big, and get the windpipes put on. And then what else is next?
Test the flow, get the machine set level.
Yeah.
And then configure the machine with the toolbar. We can calibrate.
And then try it in the field. Yeah. So it's going dark on us though. But you're like a night owl, you don't mind, do you?
I have a torch.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Okay. The one that goes on your head?
Well, the magnetic ones.
Okay.
Not sure I'll find somewhere to hook it yet.
No.
All right.
We'll get you a steel helmet.
You can come out and hold it for me.
I will, I'll do that. So we put this front hopper on. It's much bigger than the previous ones. We've got a 1600, we've got a 2000. But we put a 2800 on because the drill is quite heavy on the back, so it has a habit of sitting back. So we put a bigger hopper on the front. Now these particular hoppers, these are designed to actually go on the front or to be behind and then tow in a cultivator behind it, so they're very sturdy. So Adrian Grimsdale's made us a frame to go on the front here, which is then going to put these weights, which are here, inside of them, and they're going to slide in until we get the right weight on the front to bring the nose of the tractor down. So when we pull like that, as opposed to at the moment when we lift up, it's doing that. And so much so, before we put this hopper on, the front wheels were lifting off the floor because there wasn't enough weight because the tractors are quite short. So get this done, level the tractor up so it gets ready to pull. So it's what now? It's 6:45, and there's Kieran, Simon, Will, Sandy, all working on the drill currently. Poor old Will's had 96 calls today with things he's got to diagnose for other people, so it's difficult for him trying to do two jobs at the same time, but fingers crossed we'll get this running. 4th of October, hasn't rained today, that's a new thing. It's quite warm, and we've managed to get a bit of pre-em spraying done, which is good. They're now on the way to Lincolnshire to get ready to spray off up there. We're still working on the drill, trying to get that finished, the wet weather drill. Unusual for us to have to do that in the beginning of October, but we're pulling that forward. We really want to get drilling with all the other drills because there's quite a few of them. And then we've obviously got Kieran, who goes back to New Zealand next week. So we're on countdown for him, which is a shame because it would have been good to have got him doing a lot of drilling. So fingers crossed. I think we've got rain forecast for tomorrow. That's less than ideal because it's just starting to dry. Just at the point for, I think, give us another 2 or 3 days. I think we'll actually sensibly might be able to get on. Graham's digging ditches, digging drains out. He's found 11 drains today over in Bedford, so he's been busy doing that. And that's getting the water off the fields. That farm this year, sadly, is on another level of wetness. So, and straw is still continuing to go out. I'm really hoping this was going to be the last week, but hopefully next week. So, fingers crossed, everybody, that it keeps dry. Thank you ever so much for supporting. Took your notes on board, your constructive criticism for my butting in. Philip and I have laughed quite a bit about this, and I think he'll like the Elon husk. I think that will tickle him. So we now have a system that I now say to him when he's speaking, have you finished your sentence? Before I start. So Anyway, I hope you're enjoying the videos and the sort of distraction we did where we went to see Ed Banks and then went to see Philip, look at the oats and things. But I think it's important to see it's not just about growing the crops, it's where the crops will go next and where do they go and how do they relate to the table. So looking at the oats as a direct, straight from field to factories to supermarket, straight to the home. So I think it's interesting to see how what we grow ends up on your table. So keep on subscribing and appreciate the views and all the best and see you next week.